Hi, and welcome back to my channel. So this video is basically how to roll your R's part 2, so extra practice and just some tips and tricks that might help you get past not being able to do it. So I got a lot of great feedback on my last video. At this point it has, I think, 18,000 views, which for me is awesome. Like, I just imagine myself in a room of 18,000 people and they're all looking at me and they're interested in what I have to say. That's pretty cool. Anyway, people were freaking out. Here's the proof. There were even quite a few Italian native speakers and Spanish native speakers who could not do it until they saw my video, which to me is awesome. I'm so happy it could work even for people who don't speak English as their first language, so that's pretty cool. So for the vast majority of people, it worked pretty quickly. For a lot of people, it actually worked immediately, which I wasn't really expecting. I was expecting that for the single R, but not so much for the double R, because that one takes some more time. But I did get a few questions that I do want to answer more in depth, which is the purpose of this video. So I did get a lot of comments of people being just a little bit confused about what they're supposed to do with the double R. So I have a comment which says, similar to how you change the R to a D in sera in your head, which worked, thank you, awesome. Is there a similar change you make to both parts of vorrei? I don't know how to use my tongue to say vorrei. Would I practice saying it like that? Okay, so the short answer is yes. So basically, you need to get the single R down first. You want to get that as natural as possible. You don't want to even be thinking about it. So basically, when your brain takes that D that I told you and turns that into an R in your head, that's kind of when you're ready. I don't know if that makes sense. So the important thing to know about this is that it is the exact same tongue placement. Your tongue is not moving into a different position or anything. That's the whole point of this technique. The whole point is you get the single R first, and then the double R just follows the same placement as the single R, but doing that pause allows your tongue to kind of relax, I guess. Your tongue gets tired of doing a pause, and then it just rolls naturally. I got another comment saying, your video is very informative, but even after days of trying the trill, I still can't do it. I know where my tongue is supposed to be on the alveolar ridge, just like with the tap. I'm good at the tap because of the Japanese R, like in arigato, but I probably butchered that, but anyway. But I think my problem is my tongue is still too stiff to do the trill. Any advice? Basically, I don't want you to overthink this. I don't want you to be focusing really hard on trying to roll the R and trying to make your tongue vibrate, because the way I learned it was by doing the exact opposite, by not trying to make it vibrate, by allowing it to happen naturally with the technique of doing the pause. Now, after you kind of start getting the hang of it, you do kind of try to make it vibrate, but that's for later. Right now, we just need to get the double R. Basically, what I responded to her, which I will restate to you so you don't have to go find that comment, is if you can already do the single R, your tongue knows where it needs to be. You're gonna keep it in that exact same spot. The key is to not overthink it. You just need to practice it throughout the day, just randomly. Practice it a couple times a day whenever you have extra time. And you guys don't have to use the word vorrei. I just use that one because it means I would like. It's something that, it's a word that you use so often that I would just be annoyed when I had to use that word. I would say voglio instead of vorrei because I wanted to avoid the double R. So that's why I picked that word, but you guys can pick any word you want. In terms of the single R, I chose the word sera because for me, I personally found it easier to use a word where the R is in between two vowels, but you don't have to do that. Some people actually find it easier to get the single R when it's after a T or a D, for example. I did have one comment. So basically he took the R and extra and put a D in place in his head, and he basically followed the exact same principle, but doing it with a word that has the R beside a consonant as opposed to beside two vowels. Keep in mind that he said it took him a month to get from being able to do the single R his way, and then kind of transferring that to different kinds of words, like words with it between two vowels and words with it before a consonant or after, whatever. It took him a month. So you can't, I mean, with this method, it really depends on the person. You can't expect it to be magic. It's not going to be magical for everyone. It might take you months to do it. Like I said in my last video, it took me 4 years to figure it out. I mean, once I figured out this technique, it did happen pretty quickly, but you know, not everyone's tongue and mouth is formed in the exact same way. So it's not going to be the same for everyone. Like I said, my biggest piece of advice is to, once you get the single R, wait till it becomes natural. And even when it does become natural, it might take a long time before your tongue gets used to this idea of vibrating, because it's just something that doesn't really exist in English. Do not push too hard, because if you push too hard, you will cause your tongue to actually become stiff. So one important thing to keep in mind is do not do your best to not get overly frustrated, because if you try and you try once or twice or 3 times, you're like, oh, I can't do it. You immediately get frustrated. And it's like you want to prove to yourself that you suck. It's like, see, I told you I can't do it. Okay, you need to chill, okay? You need to not stress it. Just expect that it's going to take you 3 months, but you're going to get there, and then let yourself be pleasantly surprised when you get it sooner than that. You do need to do a bit of experimenting. Try it in different words. Go look up in Google Italian words with R's in them and just go through all the words and find out which one is the most natural for you. So another comment says, oh my goodness, this actually worked. Yay. Thank you so much. I still haven't nailed it properly because I'm learning Italian, and I found that when I tried to roll my R's, I ended up making some kind of RL sound. Like when I say burro, it ends up sounding like burlo, I think. So I still don't know how to get that elongated trill sound. When I say vorrei, it sounds quite like vorlei. Do you have any tips? I think the reason for this is because if you can do the single R sound and you do an L sound, so l, r, it's basically in the same part of your mouth. It's just that the L is like being pressed on the roof of your mouth and the R is just being flicked really quickly. So I think that might be the reason. What's happening is I think your tongue is staying there and sitting on that roof of your mouth for too long. So vorlei. I think you're getting there. Your tongue just doesn't really know how to vibrate yet. So that's not necessarily a bad thing. I think that's something that could be fixed. So it's kind of the same thing I already said, but keep going back and forth. Try doing that pause again. Even though you kind of almost have a trill, keep doing the pause, because I think that will help you to not do that L sound. Even if you have to take a really long pause. Vorrei, to get your tongue in that proper position to kind of reset it, because it's hard for us. We do kind of need to reset that sound. So you don't necessarily need to make the smallest pause in the world. You can make a much bigger pause and then shorten it continuously until they're really close together. So the kind of summary of that is you either wait until your tongue gets used to the single R until it becomes very natural for you, or you imagine the D's there. I think giving yourself time is probably the better way to go. But if you're kind of impatient, if you have, I don't know, a lot of people said they had like, I have a Spanish presentation tomorrow. You saved me, yay. If you need a really quick result, just try both ways. But I think it's better to kind of do things gradually, because your tongue is a muscle. And, you know, we do a lot of things based on muscle memory. So we want to kind of
plant that seed of memoryness. Whatever, you get what I mean.
Okay, so one other comment says, do you have any other follow-up videos you suggest for further practice? This video taught me how to make the vibration with my tongue. I live in Nicaragua and I'm pretty much fluent, but I've always had trouble with pronunciation because of the R. I can't make the noise without saying it in a word, and it usually doesn't work in conversation. I need more ways to practice. Let me know if you have any suggestions, thanks. So this one is really interesting because when I first started, I could not say it outside of a word either, and it was hard to do it in conversation. So I think this is 100% normal. This is exactly how it happened for me at the beginning. And I'm pretty sure I said this in the other video, but I didn't sound as good as I sound now at the beginning. It took me like a long time to get to the point I'm at now. I don't know how long ago I actually learned to do the double R. Maybe it was a year ago or a year and a half. I really can't remember, but it didn't become nice sounding right away. It takes a lot of time. So if this is you and you can't say it outside of a word and you can't say it in conversation, you can try saying a couple of sentences to yourself and saying them periodically throughout the day until it starts to kind of become natural and starts to become
like imprinted in the memory of your muscle memory tongue, this thing, okay? That didn't make any sense.
So yeah, that comment's kind of what inspired this video. So what you can do is pick a couple of sentences that have a bunch of R's in them and say them throughout the day. So I'm going to give you 3 of them right now. So the first one is Ho comprato una maglietta rosa l'altra sera. So this one has a lot of single R's. It has R's. Sorry, I keep looking over here because my laptop's here.
After consonants, it has R's at the beginning of the word before a vowel and also in between 2 vowels.
I chose the word sera again in case you wanted to use that, but you can make any sentences you want, but try to say these periodically throughout the day. I was saying sera like crazy and vorrei like crazy, and I couldn't, even though I could say vorrei, I couldn't say it on other words yet. It took a lot of work because my tongue and my mouth and all the muscles got used to the double R beside the O and beside the E, but it wasn't necessarily used to that beside an A or a U, right? So you need to get it used to being around all those other vowels. Okay, the second sentence is Vorrei mangiare la soppressata. Vorrei mangiare la soppressata.
Obviously this has vorrei in it because it's an important word, whatever.
So it has a double R and it has 2 single R's. So if you're making your way, if you're starting to move on to doing the double R's, this is a good sentence because it has the single ones and it has one word with the double. So it can kind of ease you into it. And if you can't say the double R yet, no problem. Say it like this. Vorrei mangiare la soppressata.
Vorrei mangiare la soppressata.
You don't have to be perfect the first time. You don't even have to be perfect the 50th time. The point is that maybe the 100th time you will get it, and that's what we want. So the third sentence is L'altro giorno ho incontrato Roberto mentre correva per strada. This is another one that has a double R, but it's in a word we haven't used yet. So, l'altro giorno ho incontrato Roberto mentre correva per strada. Keep cycling through these sentences or any other sentences you find. These are just some examples you can use and cycle through them throughout the day and see if it works for you. Okay, so I kind of have a challenge for you guys. Let me know how it goes, but I'm going to give you some tongue twisters with R's in them. And you're probably not going to sound like this guy.
Sopra la panca la capra campa, sotto la panca la capra crepa. 33 trentini entrarono in Trento, tutti e 33 trotellando. 3 tigri contro 3 tigri, 3 tigri contro 3 tigri. Carte di mazzo, mazzo di carte, carte di mazzo, mazzo di carte. Orrore, orrore, ho visto il ramarro marrone. Arriva correndo il ramarro marrone. Era gomito la melò e poi riepallotto la melò. C'è il questore in questura, quest'ora non c'è.
But we can try. So, okay. It's important with this not to let yourself get overly frustrated because keep in mind, these tongue twisters are not designed for people learning Italian as their second or third or fourth or fifth language. They're designed for Italian native speakers and they're even hard for them. So that I just wanted to point out, do not allow yourself to get frustrated in any way, shape, or form. These are designed to be hard and designed to really challenge you. So if you've practiced all those sentences and you're fine with it, you can say it in a normal sentence, but you want to really like try to exercise your tongue and try to challenge yourself, you can try these tongue twisters. They're really fun and they're really hard, even for me.
So, not even for me. It's not like I'm the god of R's, but you know, anyway.
So, the first one is really famous. It's one of the first ones you'll see when you look up Italian tongue twisters. It's tre tigri contro tre tigri. I have to say it so slowly. Okay, if you can say this 3 times quickly, you are a unicorn, okay? I'm gonna try, but I'm probably gonna fail.
Tre tigri contro tre tigri. Tre tigri contro tre tigri. Tre tigri contro tre tigri. Ha! I did it slowly, but I did it.
That's a good short one that's easy to memorize. So, okay, the second one is much longer. Porta aperta per chi porta, per chi non porta, perché non importa aprire la porta. That one, actually, I don't find as difficult. It doesn't... My mouth isn't crying as much, but it's much longer. So, one more time. Porta aperta per chi non porta, parta, perché non importa aprir la porta. Okay, so that was the second one. And the third one is, this one's fun. This one has double R's in it, unlike the other ones. And I managed to find one with a word that has 3 R's, a double R and a single R in the same word. So it's pretty hard. Actually, 2 words that have 3 R's in them. A couple with 1 R and just with 2 R's. So this is really hard. We're gonna try this one. Oh che orrore, oh che orrore. Ho visto un ramarro verde sul muro marrone. It's fun, I like it. One more time. Oh che orrore, oh che orrore. Ho visto un ramarro verde sul muro marrone. It's hard, but it's fun. So that's kind of what I wanted to close this video with, is I want you guys to have fun with this. I don't want you to get overly frustrated. Learning languages is fun. It's an adventure. So try not to get frustrated. I know it's really hard. I get really frustrated too, because we all want to be perfect. Actually, no, not all of us. I'm a perfectionist, but a lot of us do want to be perfect and get frustrated when we're not. So just try your best to just enjoy the language adventure. Here's some things you can do for further practice. I mentioned it in the first video, but having a conversation with someone really helps. It helps you to not overthink it, to overthink about, I don't know, attempting to vibrate your tongue and stuff like that. I don't want you guys to force it. Doing this in a conversation kind of allows it to be more natural. You end up focusing more on what you're actually saying and a little bit less on perfect pronunciation, so it kind of allows it to be a little bit more natural. I mentioned in my video on how I learned Italian that I used an app called HelloTalk. You can obviously use any app you want. I'm sure there are similar ones, but that one allows you to chat with people and have phone calls and video calls and stuff. That was really helpful for me. If you don't know anyone who's Italian and you want someone to speak with, you can try there. If you're really stuck and you can't find anyone to talk to and you don't know anyone or whatever, or you just want extra help from me specifically, I do have an email address. You can email me at itsalisa.notelissa@gmail.com, and that way I can tutor you privately if that's something you're interested in. If nothing works for you and you really want one-on-one help, I can try to hear what I think is going wrong and try to, I guess, coach you through it. So if that's something you're interested in, you can definitely shoot me an email and we'll have like a Skype lesson. That's all I have for today. I hope this was somewhat helpful. Obviously my first video was going to be the most helpful because it was the actual technique. This one was just a little extra, just a couple of extra tips. So I hope it wasn't a waste of time. But no, I enjoyed making this video. Okay, I'm done blabbing now. My videos are always super long, so I'm gonna go. But thanks for hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoyed my company, and
I don't want to leave. Recording videos is so fun. Oh well.
If you thought this video was helpful, leave me a like. Subscribe to my channel because I will continue releasing other videos related to languages and culture and maybe some other random stuff depending on what you guys want to see. So subscribe and join my little family. If you want to leave me a comment and let me know how it went, I love reading them and responding to them. So that's all. I'm gonna go now, but I'll see you guys next time. Bye!